Hello and welcome all into the MO podcast. You're here as always with me, Consummation San.
And me, Atreya.
And today we were going to do a deep dive on the Son of Sam, but it's a little bit too heavy, really. And
I don't want to be killed.
Yeah, to be honest with you, and there's a lot more. I think that's just going to be, I think we need to find a few more things on it before we can say it is or it isn't.
Pay for some decent bodyguards.
Well, yeah, to be honest.
There's a whole long list of people who wound up dead. Who started digging.
Yes, and
we don't want to become them.
Yeah, exactly. We've got enough trouble with the Russians.
Exactly.
So, going on from that, when I was researching into some of the Son of Sam stuff, I found something that's a little bit light-hearted. I say that now. We'll see how this works out, to be honest with you. But that is kind of the moral panic that surrounded the Son of Sam killings, and to be honest with you, the kind of the 70s and 80s and that whole period. And the thing with moral panic is it goes in loops. Every few years there's a new thing that we all need to be outraged about, and it's something of nothing.
Several this year and last.
Yeah. Well, exactly. But I mean, usually it's over, the media overhypes it, and then you kind of getting into arguments with your family about it and this, that and the other. And I suppose that's how the media works. It's to sell papers or to get the clicks, and it is what it is, unfortunately. But Stan Cohen did a study in the early 70s, and he was studying mods and rockers. In the beginning, mods and rockers they just went about the business. They weren't this rivalry that we all consider. Maybe not nowadays, but there wasn't really the rivalry until Easter weekend in 1964. Now, it was an Easter weekend, so it's a long weekend, so people are going out, boozing, obviously, and few fights broke out. There's a little bit of vandalism going on. But in Brighton, this was all laid at the door of the mods and the rockers. And the media got involved, and they sensationalised how much violence there was, how much graffiti there was, and basically by the end of the week of all the reporting, this was basically a full-on gang war between the mods and the rockers. And this in turn led to the police cracking down on mods and rockers and any future events that they may have, and just to try and alleviate the public's concern. And that is kind of like an example of how it all kind of escalated. In the beginning, they didn't really care about each other, they didn't notice each other, but because people got involved that shouldn't have got involved because they don't understand the subculture that it is, they just see these people that are different from them and they jump on them straight away, and then we end up with quadrophenia.
Why can't they just let them crack on? Enjoy their music, dress how you want. It's all good. Who cares?
Well, this is it, to be honest with you. It's just people do-gooders sticking their nose in.
Yeah. Mind your own feckin' business.
Yeah, just let people be. And this is how we kind of get onto the Son of Sam angle here, because during the time that Dave Berkowitz or the Son of Sams were roaming about, devil worshipping was a big moral panic, and the 80s were bleak enough without throwing this into the loop. But there was a lot of, I wouldn't say panic, but there was a lot of outrage over the music of the time. I mean, we had Twisted Sister, Motley Crue, Quiet Riot, we had Kiss with face paint. And even though they weren't singing about burning altars and upside down crosses, because they kind of represented something different, everyone, the do-good, the God-bothering people jumped on the bandwagon and said, no, we can't have this. This has got to be something to do with him downstairs.
yeah, Gene Simmons clearly is. His tongue is just a representation of Lucifer himself. Come on, this is clutching at straws a little bit.
Exactly. I mean, but the problem with this is, as with everything, is the media kind of stoked this fire. And one of the main things about this satanic ritual abuse and the whole devil worshipping, people are doing horrible stuff to other people and children as well, is it because it kind of comes out of a book that was published in November in 1980, and it's called Michelle Remembers. Now,
oh yeah,
this book was, it was said it was a true story, and it was Michelle Smith. That's the name in the book. That's not her actual name. But in the late 70s, Michelle Smith started going to see a therapist, Dr. Lawrence Pazder, for depression. But she felt there was something else in the background, something that she not necessarily needed to confess to, but there was something that she couldn't really verbalise to him. And it was pretty big. So basically what happened was, because Lawrence Pazder isn't a hack at all, just straight up, honest to God, fucking snake oil salesman, to be quite frank with you. But he decided to go and give Michelle hypnotherapy. So she went through 14 months and 600 hours of hypnotherapy. Now, there's a lot of issues with hypnotherapy. From my personal point of view. Like, I've never experienced it, but you can plant memories into people.
That's power suggestion, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's like sleep paralysis. Okay, you think there's something on the bottom of your bed, but there's really not. It's just your brain is just tripping out.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the same with hypnotherapy. If you're asked leading questions and you're under the watch, as I suppose it would be, because you're not under the knife, but I think that's kind of the way you'd go with it.
Yeah. I don't think it's a very reliable method of finding repressed memories.
No. And 100%, if I was going to a therapist, a psychologist, and they said, right, we're going to do some hypnotherapy on you, I'd walk out there and then and go, no, don't believe any of them certificates off the wall. I think they're all from Pointer Print, for a start, right? And no, it just doesn't. For me, it's something, maybe people have had good experience with it and good luck to you, whatever kind of therapy suits you is that's for you. But for me personally, I take it with a bit of a pinch of salt.
I'd be like, bitch, ain't nobody coming close to my repressed memories but Paul McKenna. Get him in the room or get out.
I see as well. Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but I was reading something either about Paul McKenna or Derren Brown, and basically they got into it as just a way of suggestion rather than actually doing proper work. Paul McKenna ain't a doctor, so just studied some things. But I can't remember what the article was, but it was quite interesting that how they didn't really go through it for the helping aspect in the beginning. But like I say, for every Paul McKenna or Derren Brown, there's like 5 other dodgy bastards around the corner going, watch this.
Yeah, I think they just did it for like entertainment purposes, didn't they?
Yeah.
As opposed to, they're not going to open their own, therapy centre or something. Actually, I think Paul McKenna wrote quite a few books, but Derren Brown clearly just does it to show people how easy it is to manipulate somebody.
Yeah, and he is all about the power of suggestion. I mean, for where he explains how a Ouija board is done, it's because it's your own internal, like, subconscious pushing the board to the things you want to see. But yeah, basically, so what Pazder uncovered in quote marks, is that when Michelle was 5, over a period of a year, her mother put her through a series of rituals that were to try and appease the devil. And there was several other people involved in this. People came and went. I won't go into what happened or what she claims to have happened or what she believes to have happened to her. But it's if you whatever the devil likes, they kind of did to her, apparently. So he identified the perpetrators of these acts as members of the Church of Satan. Now, what's interesting here is, as soon as the book was published and Anton LaVey threatened to sue him for libel, he kind of backtracked from that and went, oh, maybe it wasn't them.
Convenient.
Yeah, if you don't know about the Church of Satan, it's I don't know if it's an official religion, but it is a church, and they're pretty cool, to be honest with you. They're quite chill. They look at the word Satan in the Hebrew meaning, which means adversary. So, in other words, if you've got something you need to go up against in your life, you need to use positive stuff against it. And they try and promote positive well-being within themselves.
They probably should have chose a different name for their group, right?
Yeah.
We're all about positivity and battling negativity, and come join the Church of Satan. Their PR person needs firing immediately.
But the thing is, Anton LaVey, if you, I'm sure you know who he is, but I mean, he looks like some Ming the Merciless motherfucker, right? He's bald-headed, he's got his lovely little clip beard, and he actually turned round at the beginning, well, not at the beginning, but in later life, when he'd gone back from the church, he turned around and said, I just did it as a money-making opportunity. Like, fair enough, mate, fair enough.
Honest,
yeah.
Can't knock him.
That's it. And what is quite funny about Anton LaVey is his born name was Howard, which I think is brilliant considering the way he looks.
I kind of feel like he should have stuck with Howard.
Indeed.
I think Howard is much more imposing than Anton.
Especially with that look. I mean, you'd be like,
yeah.
You know, you all right, Howard? What's going on?
He could get H for short, couldn't he? Sup, H? Or Howie, affectionately.
Yeah, I suppose. Only inner circle members call him that.
Yeah. Yeah. Only like brother John or whoever is his second in command can call him Howie.
Yeah, I mean, his daughter was the high priestess in the 80s of the church.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but then...
What was her name?
You put me on the spot there now. Can't remember. And just Google it, basically.
I hope it was something flamboyant.
But she was actually... was the centre of a conspiracy theory about Taylor Swift. And I don't know what it is because I never looked into it, but she kind of did look like Taylor Swift when she was younger. So I don't know. Maybe they're saying she's the brains behind Tay-Tay. I don't know.
Tay-Tay.
But yeah, anyway, so that's one of the places where the story starts to fall apart. One of the second places is both Michelle and Paz were married to different people, obviously, when they started doing this therapy, and then shortly after the book came out, they divorced their other halves and got married to each other.
Of course they did.
So, bad therapist, straight away. Don't get involved with your subjects.
Tangent Cam, his kids are called Carla, Xena with a Z, and, wait for it, Xerxes.
Xerxes, that's a strong name.
Love it. Strong name. Love it. I'm calling my kid Xerxes.
It was Xena. Xena was the high priestess.
That's definitely a high priestess name. Good for her.
Exactly. Yeah, strong.
Carla was never going to make it.
Xerxes is fucking ruling Crete at the minute. He's out there on his 7 foot tall on his carriage pulled by humans.
Xerxes is ruling Crete. Xena's high priestess of the entire cult, and Carla is assistant manager of co-op.
Oh god, yeah, you can see it all now.
He wasn't going to invest in her. What's the point? Let's face it.
Exactly. It's like first one's always the worst one, isn't it? First the worst.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah. So Pastor married Michelle, which red flag there. He also never reported any of these incidents to the police. He just went to a publisher, which
wow.
If you've been told about a crime, as much as you want to make money, you go to the authorities first.
Obviously.
Michelle also had 2 sisters, and along with their father, they turned around and went, "Never happened, mate. Don't know what you're talking about." And I think as well, Pastor was a Roman Catholic, and I think he kind of had his belief guide him on this one, rather than just his Hippocratical oath, really. I think he just went, you know what? Someone asked the leading questions on hypnosis, found out someone was doing something to her, and it's the devil, obviously. It's bad. Yeah. I think the major falling down point in this is the last ritual. Deep breath. The last ritual lasted 81 days, and this was to summon Lucifer himself.
81 days?
81 days. And apparently they summoned Lucifer, and it needed the intervention of the Virgin Mary, the Archangel Michael, and Jesus fucking Christ to stop it. And Jesus, being the good dude that he is, blocked her memories until a time that was right when she would remember.
So, okay, so that's all well and good. That's all fair and well. So did God not feel like he should maybe chip in at this point? Was he was like, I think Mary and Jesus have got it. It's fine. It's like an archangel.
I think first off, he sent Michael down, and he was like, "Oh, he's getting his ass kicked." Yeah. Mary, go and tell him. And then she started getting her ass kicked, and he was like, "Jesus, put your shoes on, or else I'll have to go down there. And if I go down there, there's gonna be."
So help me God, I will turn this car around.
So help me.
So me.
I will. I tell you.
Now get your ass down there and help your mother out.
Yeah. So it kind of was like, fair enough, whatever, but. People, this book was a true story. None of this evidence was ever corroborated. Like I say, it was just hypnotherapy and Michelle's word. Now, don't get me wrong, some bad things may have happened to her, and it's a horrible situation, but you need more than one source. You need 2 sources, 3 sources, right? And even Oprah had her on and said everything in this book is true. And maybe she bought everyone cars after the episode. I don't know.
Oprah said that.
Yeah,
Oprah said that it was true.
Yeah, she said this is the book, a true story, and this is the story of it. And had her on the show as a chat show, and obviously sat there probably going, "Ooh," pulling that face she does. I don't know. I don't watch Oprah.
And this is why nobody should fall for the Harry and Meghan interview. This is hard, solid proof that Oprah is full of shit.
Yeah, forgot about that. I should have kept away from Oprah.
Okay, but from a Michelle perspective, right? How vain is she that she thought that she was involved in a group of people who could actually summon the devil, the master of hell, the great and powerful, that I don't know, 6 people dancing around a fire for 81 days could make him go, "Oh God, if they don't stop that incessant fucking chanting, I'm going to lose my shit. I'm just going to go up there and I'm just going to politely ask them to just shush a little bit. And then, oh, look, there's somebody for me to possess. I'll do horrible things. No! I don't think he got off his arse. I don't think he cared. How vain are they to think that they can summon the devil?
This is the thing, and this is the thing with the time as well. I think the moral panic, and because Pastor was a Roman Catholic, he put 1 and 1 together and came up with 647 and went, gotta be the devil, because what other thing could it be?
Oh, for goodness sake.
And the interesting thing is as well, during this 81-day last ritual, where Jesus was just chilling with them, Michelle apparently went into school every day and showed no sign effects of anything.
Funny that, isn't it?
Exactly.
Really weird.
Yeah. So, but no, Oprah said it's true, so it must be true. The devil
picks and chooses his times, doesn't he? He's like, no, her education comes first. We'll deal with this at 4:30.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure you're on that bus and don't get detention for the love of him upstairs.
Have you got your Lunchables? Packed you them ham ones you like. This is just... Oh.
See, now, this isn't even the weirdest thing about this time, because with the moral panic that we're going through with Satan worship and devil worship and all this, somehow, role-playing games, Dungeons and Dragons got dragged into it.
Oh, no.
I know, it's just bad.
Have they seen the people that play Dungeons and Dragons? They are the least evil people you could possibly ever hope to meet. Look at those cute kids in Stranger Things. God love them.
Yeah, they can't even deal with, I'm not going to say normal people, but they can't deal with society as a general. No, imagine if the devil popped up, they'd shit themselves. Fucking hell.
They would get, them beanbags you used to have at school, the ones that you used to use for PE that you used to like chuck at people. They were like red, blue, yellow, and green. They'd be like, fire spell, and just lob this beanbag at the devil. Didn't work. Shit. Now what?
Shit. I have a pencil and a paper. I'm just going to write down some shit, rolling dice at him. Yeah, there you go.
Or 2 pencils together in the sign of a cross, just going, the power of Christ compels you. That's what they said, wasn't it? Didn't that work?
It really didn't. He got thrown through a window, didn't he?
He did.
So Max von something.
Yeah.
Got thrown through a window when he tried that. But yeah, so Dungeons & Dragons got dragged into this, and I don't think Gary Gygax was imagining that this is what he created.
No.
So the reason why it got dragged into this is because a lady called Patricia Pullen set up BAD, which was Bothered About Dungeons & Dragons.
Oh, for goodness sake. Isn't that Badad?
BADD, bad. No,
Dungeons and Dragons. Badad.
Oh, yeah, it will be.
Stupid cow couldn't even get it right, could she? I've set up a company called Badad. Badad. No, okay.
And she set this up in 1983. Now, the reason why she set it up is because her son Irvin had committed suicide a year earlier, and he was an active role-playing gamer. He played Dungeons and Dragons at school. She actually filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the school and against the headmaster because of his suicide, because his character had a curse placed on him, and she felt that he spiraled and it caused him to commit suicide.
I think her being his mother caused him to commit suicide. Jesus,
yeah,
she sounds like a dragon.
Yeah,
not she was good kind.
No, she wouldn't be in Dungeons and Dragons. She wouldn't be one of them dragons.
No, she definitely wouldn't.
Yeah,
she'd be the Demogorgon.
But they actually, this organisation, they published a 44-page pamphlet which urged school districts to ban Dungeons & Dragons and other role-playing games because 6 young people who played make-believe had committed suicide.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. Why are you suffocating these children's rights to have an imagination?
Exactly, but it's kind of like clutching at straws. Of the
Definitely.
6 people, I mean, James D. Eggman III was probably the most high-profile one that committed suicide. But in the actual pamphlet, it's basically, it says, like, on the first page is the below listed victims of suicide have one common denominator. This is all in caps and underlined. All were heavily involved in Dungeons and Dragons.
All wore clothes. All had hair. Let's start ragging on Topshop.
This is what it kind of goes on, it descends into. All deaths involved weapons save one. 3 died on the full moon. All were white males between the age of 12 to 18. 3 were honour-gifted students. What? I mean, it's all over the place, that. What?
There's absolutely no consistency in there whatsoever.
No. 1 wore brown shoes. 1 wore red shoes. Like, what the fuck?
And weapons? Well, yeah. I mean, generally killing yourself involves some form of weapon, you know?
Indeed. And it's America. So...
Everybody's got a gun.
Yeah. So this wasn't about banning guns or the Second Amendment. This was about banning a fucking game. That's how much. Sorry, Americans, if you're listening to this, but for fuck's sake, do you not see the difference between stopping the King of England coming in and trying to fucking take your country back and kids rolling dice? That's just... I mean, to be honest with you, the pamphlet kind of just then descends into a Dungeon Master's handbook because it gives, like, all the rules and, like, how to cast spells in it and shit. It's 44 pages of nonsense. Well, not nonsense, because it's basically the rules, but it doesn't have any plot to it. There's no, this is the reason why it needs to be banned. It's just like, if you roll a 6 and a 4... you can cast lightning. Right?
But it's irrelevant because the kids and the people who play D&D know and are fully aware it's not real. That's like Johnny Depp thinking that he actually is Jack Sparrow and, you know, nicking a boat and sailing away with it.
It wouldn't surprise me.
But you know what I mean? Like, actors know that they're not actually those characters in the movies they play. People can tell the difference, well... majority of people can tell the difference between what's real and what's imaginary, and it's just a game. You know, I didn't used to think I was really the Pink Ranger.
Just going to leave that silence in there. But this is the thing as well. I mean, if you're going to commit suicide, you've obviously... or if you're thinking them thoughts, you've obviously got something going on. And if anyone's thinking them thoughts or they're having... a crisis or they're suffering from depression, please go and seek help, because just talking to random people cannot get you anywhere. Just don't do hypnotherapy. But obviously he had other issues that were affecting him. He's a kid going through school. Jesus Christ, it was horrid.
Yeah.
Especially, imagine a kid in the 80s playing Dungeons and Dragons going through American school. He was bullied.
Yeah, locked in the locker every single day, I would say.
Do you know what I mean? It's back then, it was, you were a nerd in the 80s. You were a nerd. There was none of this acceptance that we've got nowadays with social
you're cool
media.
Now if you play it.
Yeah, exactly. Back then, you were just a nerd and you were locked in your locker and your bag, you were pushed over in the mud. Yeah.
Legit was as well. As if school isn't just crap enough, though. Like, high school in general is just shit. It's just a world of shit. If somebody said to me, you can have £1 million if you go back and live 5 years of high school, I would say, keep your money, thanks, you're all right. I just wouldn't do it. So there's no way that this guy took his own life because of D&D and his character getting a cut. That is just absolute... It's just ridiculous. And I think that woman should be ashamed of herself for even thinking that that was the aim. Instead of digging down and thinking, am I a bad parent? Or was he getting bullied at school? Or did he have a girlfriend? Had they just broke up? Or had he had a fight with his friends? Or, or just anything. But
so yeah,
it's just ridiculous.
I know. This is the thing as well with this devil worshipping, this social moral panic, whatever you want to call it. It's people are looking for excuses that are not them. They're trying to push it out there. It's nothing to do with me. I was the perfect mother or father or whatever. It must be something else. And America, well, I wouldn't say the world, but certainly Western world was some stupid percentage of Christianity. People went to church every week back then. I know I got dragged in church every week back then.
Oof.
And it was you believed, like, I don't know, but my parents believed in God, believed in the Bible, and they were pushing it down. So when something bad happens, even though obviously we discussed how passive aggressive my mum is, even though she wasn't bad at all, but I think if something like that happened to me, I think she'd be looking outwards rather than inwards and saying it must be the devil. It can't be anything to do with us. It's got to be some outside factor. And I suppose it's a kind of self-preservation tactic, I suppose. Nobody wants to look at how horrible they are. They don't want to look in the mirror. They just go, no, fine, ignore it. Must be a bad man, bad thing, not me.
Yeah.
They don't want to be the bad man, the bad thing. And you can kind of get your head around it that way, but blaming a board game? No.
It's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah. I mean,
although, I think people have been killed over Monopoly, so is it that much of a stretch?
Yeah, but Monopoly's a horrible game.
Mm-hmm.
The worst game ever. And you know the people at Christmas who go, let's play Monopoly. You know they're dickheads.
Uh-huh,
right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
My mum's partner said it last year and I almost knocked his fucking teeth out. I was like, you can shove that game. Oh, why don't you want to play it? Because it's the worst game ever. Like, for a start, I'm not big on capitalism because I'm poor. But for a second, right, we'll just be fighting.
Yeah.
Why do you want to end every Christmas with a punch-up? I don't understand.
Well, they have their own hotline, don't they? Monopoly has its own hotline for people to call when they think that it's getting a bit heated, and they've got trained staff that calm people down.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's a real thing. Google it if you don't believe me. It's a real thing, and it's this is so they know that people basically just are quite capable at Christmas of murdering their relatives and not thinking anything of it over Monopoly, beating somebody to death with the Monopoly board. Or giving them death by 1,000 cuts with the Monopoly paper money.
Yeah, definitely.
Or making them choke on the hat. Or the ship.
Yeah. Here's your money. Shoving it down the throat.
How does Park Lane feel now, bitch? Yeah.
Oh,
See?
God, yeah.
So it's not that far-fetched, really. But no, it is. I jest. Obviously, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I will say this for Patricia Pulling. She went on to obtain a private investigator's license, and she became a consultant to law enforcement.
What?
Yeah, she was actually their expert witness in gaming-related lawsuits.
What?
Yeah, they are lost, the lawsuits, but still, she was their expert witness in these losing lawsuits, so it's something.
Oh my god.
She described.
I rage quit live.
Yeah, she described Dungeons and Dragons as a fantasy role-playing game which uses demonology, witchcraft, voodoo, murder, rape, blasphemy, suicide, assassination, insanity, sex perversion, homosexuality, prostitution, satanic-type rituals, gambling. Don't know why that's that far down the list, but whatever. Barbarism, cannibalism, sadism, desecration, demon summoning, necromantics, divination, and other teachings. It's like, yeah.
Wait till she sees Postal.
Yeah. She
or GTA.
Imagine if she was still going today. God bless her. She'd rage quit life.
She would. She really would.
I mean, and as well, she had some She had some pretty outstanding views, and as the popularity of Dungeons and Dragons and other role-playing games increased, her views were called into question. Like, she once told a newspaper reporter that 8% of the people living in Richmond, Virginia, were Satanists. When she was kind of questioned where she got that figure from, she said, well, I estimate that 4% of adults and 4% of teenagers were involved with Satanism. So I just added them together and got 8%.
I estimated. Not even, I did a survey on the roadside outside McDonald's and I surveyed 10 people. It was just, well, I just estimated.
Just gave it a guess, didn't I? And then when the reporter turned around and went, you know, if that 4 and 4 is actually just 4% because it's 4% of the population, not 8. She went, oh, it doesn't even matter because even 8% is a conservative figure. From her made-up statistics. Like, do you know, like...
Nice one, lady. Keep walking.
Yeah, rather than go, I just made it up, Anna. Why not? She went,
wow.
I did the maths. Look, I actually did the maths on it.
Clearly.
And they were wrong, but I tried.
They were wrong, but it doesn't even matter because 8% of that population are goddamn Satanists.
Gotta be. What else are they doing at night? Oh, I've seen them.
This woman's a nutter.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it's one of them. She did lose her son, and I am sorry for that. But it's like we were saying, look, try and heal. Don't try and ruin everyone else's life. You know...
She was just a nutter. It sounds a bit like she was a nutter before all that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So that's probably as to the reasons, like... Yeah, there's reasons that people do stuff, and you just gotta look close as well, haven't you? Really.
She sucked all the fun out of everything.
Well, that's it. Imagine that. Coming home from school. Like, you've been locked in your locker all the fucking recess or playtime, whatever they call it. Right? And you manage to get out. You go to class and it's shit because you can't fucking draw or whatever it is you're supposed to do. And then you spend an hour after school playing some D&D to chill out. And then you get home and your mum's on your case like, where have you been? I've just been playing with my friends. I hope you weren't summoning devils.
Have you been playing that rapey game again? That Dungeons and Dragons? Like,
do you know... I didn't even know what rape was when I was 12, I don't think.
Yeah, same.
But... Yeah, I mean... Again, it's... I think it's... Is it cylindrical or it's circular? That these moral panics go round and round, and I'm sure at some point, I mean, we'll kind of have another one where you just look at it and go, no, just shut up. I mean, like you say, there's a lot going on at the minute anyway. Shall
we set up our own Church of Satan? Because it sounds like there's money to be made.
You actually can. You can become. You can either be an active member or a passive member. To be an active member, I think you've got to pay. No, an active member. I think you've got like.
Sacrifice 5 goats.
Well, yeah, to Anton. I think it's like a subscription involved, and then to be a passive member, there's just a one-off payment. It's a bit like Netflix, really.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's.
I wonder what you get from it. I bet it's Pilates and stuff like mindfulness. I bet it's stuff like that.
Just peace of mind,
Come
really.
Join the Church of Satan. And now reach for the sun, look up, inhale, and exhale. Let all the negative thoughts vanish from your mind. Join us at the Church of Satan.
Do you know what? I think that's a great advert for it. I forget the name of the actual high priest who is in at the moment, but don't use that clip because you can buy it off us. We can make money as well here, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna be the high priestess Xerxina. So,
what was
watch
funny about
this space?
What is funny about the Church of Satan is that they did, I think in 2000 and odd, they did actually relocate their headquarters to Hell's Kitchen, which in New York, which I thought was that is marking. That is a great move.
Oh my God, wouldn't it be great if Gordon Ramsay was the high priest? The high priest of the Church of Satan in Hell's Kitchen. But his own Hell's Kitchen. And all the people who are part of the show, all the people who are cooking underneath him in Hell's Kitchen, are all part of the Church of Satan as well. Like to actually partake in the show, you have to join. You have to pay the subscription fee to be part of the Church of Satan. I'm just saying, Gordon, there's an extra bit of money revenue there for you if you consider it.
Can you just imagine that? Like, just picture it in your head. For fuck's sake, Xerxes, your pie has got a soggy bottom. We're having a bake sale at weekend. What the fuck?
What are you, Anton? An idiot sandwich. Xena, it's fucking raw.
It's this.
Love it.
I want me fucking chicken medium rare.
Oh, back up, Netflix. Back up.
We need to stop talking about this on air, really, right? Because we're gonna get
all these live workshopping sessions. Honestly, we're giving people so much money.
I know, they're just alright. Copyrighted, all of it, trademarked and copyrighted.
Yep.
Don't know how to do any of that, but it is because we've done it.
I mean, I think you can just go on Google and just go Church of Satan .hell.org. Copyright, pay, I think like $2.99 or something. PayPal sorted, didn't it? Can't be that hard. All them morons do it on Dragon's Den. You know, when they come to the dragons with a great idea and it's like a pencil. It's like, yeah. So. You know that's not a new idea, right?
Done 700 years ago, mate.
And they're like, yeah, but mine is coloured. Yeah, no, it's not a new thing. It's a colouring pencil.
Just
kids have been using them for decades.
The look in his eyes when he comes on with a pen, and he's like, it's not only got blue, but black, red, and green on the top. Yeah, mate.
He's come from the most sheltered life ever. And all the dragons are sitting there clicking their multicoloured pens. Like, on this occasion, I have to say, I'm out. Click.
Marking this one with green, or no. Yeah, I mean, yes, that was just something that it didn't amuse me because obviously it contains suicide and other harmful subjects, but it was just something interesting that it was during this period time and how you can get if a couple of factors all go in the same kind of way, you can create this outrage and you can kind of just push on with it. It's like this is how QAnon starts, and now with the social media and the echo chamber that we've got is just getting more amplified. And I think nowadays it's a lot easier to kind of start this, whereas back in the day it was a lot harder. I mean, this is probably why you had to go big or go home back in the day. Yeah. Like, it's fucking devil, it's got to be, you know, biggest thing ever. or the Salem witch trials, that's kind of the same thing. Witches, they turn me into a frog. I got better, like, but
overnight, in fact.
Yeah.
But I still like to jump.
Don't we all? Yeah, and eat flies. Yeah, good.
And I do have I have a really, really long tongue. Now, listen, Mr. Simmons, just sit back down. We'll deal with this in a bit.
Yes, are you off your medication again? But yeah, it's for me. Like, I didn't. Obviously, I knew what moral panic was, and you understand it more so now. But it's just the application of how one or two reportings like Michelle Remembers or the reporting in the papers about the mods and the rockers, how that one little thing can be the spark to kind of everyone's looking at mods and rockers a little bit differently now. Everyone's looking probably back at their childhood, going, Was I in some kind of ritual and did Jesus wipe my mind? When these things came out and it happened.
Do you think Jesus has got one of them things that the Men in Black have got? You know, the things that they're like, look into this light, and then they put the glasses on, and then it wipes your mind.
Do you know what?
I think Jesus puts his shades on first.
I did actually think that, but because it's an actual quote from the book is, at a time you will remember, he's only kind of blocking the memories, he's not wiping the memories.
Right, yeah.
So,
good point.
As soon as I read it, I went, he's got a thingamabob. Will Smith's he's got one of them. But I don't think he has, because he's just like putting a block there. So he's got some kind of paywall. And then...
Or he's got one of them, but he bought it off Wish, so it doesn't work like it would if you'd bought it off Amazon or Etsy. It only does like half a job.
Not as
like,
advertised.
Yeah, exactly. Rather than paying like 50 quid for it, he paid like, you know, £1.70, and it doesn't really wipe memories per se. It just blasts you with a really bright light to the point where you're stunned and you can't remember things for a couple of seconds because you're so, whoa, what is that bright light? And then afterwards you remember. Or when you visit Paul McKenna.
Well, yeah. Wouldn't like a wish list, one of them just be like a big stick and you just twat them over the head with it?
Just a club.
Yeah. Boom. Right, you forgot. I'll see you later.
Yeah, but the actual advert image still has a picture of Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones on it, just holding one of them.
Yeah. Oh, God, that would have been a different film, wouldn't it? Jesus.
I mean, China can still make their own, can't they? Their own Wish version.
Indeed.
I would pay to see it.
Indeed, yeah.
But I wouldn't pay very much, because that'd be going against everything they believe in.
Obviously, yeah. And we'd order it off Wish, not Netflix.
Yes.
Yeah, completely different film.
I love it.
Didn't want to watch Wild Wild West, but we've got it now, so there you go. So yeah, that was all about moral panic. It's really interesting to learn about the social side of it for me, and how it can just blow up in.
Yeah, one tiny thing like what kind of music you make and what T-shirt you wear can turn into the devil killed my son.
Exactly. I mean, it's one of them. If you don't conform with society, then we will make you conform with society.
Yeah.
And that's why the Illuminati control the media, and we all are sheeple.
Yes.
We've all got Bill Gates' chips in our arms now.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's you think that, I don't think that.
I wouldn't even mind, to be honest. Like, if I had that smart wallpaper and stuff, you know, so I had a chip in my hand, so every single time, like, I could just use an app or something and change the entire interior colour of my living room and stuff just by a chip in my hand and smart wallpaper. Do it. Stick it in my brain if it helps my interior design choices, which, let's face it, they actually do change. I would say once every 9.5 days, I want to repaint my entire living room. So that would be much more helpful.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Indeed. And on that bombshell, the future is a bleak one, that we're all heading into becoming sheeple and cyborgs. Hopefully John Connor will be about soon. And
I don't want to be a sheeple, but I wouldn't mind being a cyborg. I could upgrade myself. How cool is that?
I mean, surely it depends. Surely, like, there'll be a payment plan, and you've got a level of cyborg that you can afford. Like, I know I'd have the fucking... Yeah, I'd still be the same. I wouldn't be able to afford it. And, like, you go one up from that, where you start getting implants, but you can't implant them yourself. And then there's, like, platinum service, where you just get everything. Get something sent out, a new thing every month. Like... Or
you could try and upgrade yourself, but if you accidentally bricked yourself, that was it. It's a dodgy game to play.
Just just can't move like that. Oh shit. This has gone wrong.
Can we place an emergency 911 to bag? I've bricked myself. I can't move. I really want a cuppa.
Oh god.
Can you log in remotely, please?
Yes, you can share my screen. So, on that bombshell, this has been the MO Podcast with me, Consummation San.
And me, Atreya.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we shall see you all next time.
The MO Podcast.
Bye.
The MO Podcast. The MO Podcast. The MO Podcast.